Welcome to another episode. In this episode, we are going into, is he avoidant or is he a narcissist? And it is a very fine line because there are avoidant men or avoidant people out there in general that are avoidant, but then there's the toxic avoidant as well, which is where it's an avoidant attachment style, but it gets highly amplified. I have spoken to that many women in my DMs on TikTok, and they seem so confused about whether the man that they're interacting with or in a relationship with is just avoidant or is he a narcissist. So that's why we have created this episode today. I hope you like the new background if you're watching. All right, let's get into it. So the main question I get is he just emotionally unavailable? Is he avoidant? Or is he a narcissist? And a lot of the time I don't get enough context and I can't reply to all of the DMs, to be honest. I need to hire someone to do that for me. But I want you to very clearly understand that they are not the same thing. Someone who is avoidant versus someone who is a narcissist, they are two different things. Confusing the two will keep you stuck in the wrong relationship or entertaining the wrong thing for way too long though. And that is my deepest fear for you as a woman, whether you're anxiously attached or not. So today we're breaking down the difference between avoidant men and narcissists so you can stop second guessing your reality. Now, you could just apply this to avoidant people and narcissist people in general, but I speak to the anxiously attached ladies, so that's why I'm talking about avoidant men. Very briefly, we're going to touch over what is an avoidant. I did make a whole episode about avoidant men and why you attract them, so I highly encourage you to check that out after this one if you're still a bit confused about what an avoidant is or you don't have enough depth or clarity around that. But very briefly, the touch over. Avoidant attachment is rooted in fear of emotional dependency. So they fear being dependent on someone. They really value their independence. They're hyper independent. They can come across very charming, very successful, etc. Avoidant men, they crave connection but fear losing independence. They shut down when emotions get intense or conversations get intense. They will pull away during conflict, struggle with vulnerability, and need space to regulate. I'm touching over this very quickly because I know a lot of you already know this. When things feel too close, they distance themselves, not to control you, but to actually calm themselves. A lot of it and even their ego is this protective shield. Now, they often say things like, I just need space, you're pressuring me, stop pressuring me, I'm not good at talking about feelings, I'm just not the kind of guy that talks about his emotions, I'm not emotional, why does everything have to be so serious, right? And their core fear is being engulfed, being submerged by you, losing their own autonomy, and being needed too much, which is why they're often not there for you when you need them the most. Now, there's different types of avoidant. You have the fearful avoidant and the dismissive avoidant, but we're not going to get into that today. Now, what is a narcissist? Narcissism is extremely different. We're not talking about someone who just loves themselves. We're talking about someone with deep insecurity masked by control, entitlement, and a severe lack of empathy. Narcissistic men in particular will often love bomb you in the beginning. They will mirror your personality to hook you in. They crave admiration. They struggle with accountability. They turn conflict into your fault and manipulate to maintain power. Their core fear is not being superior. It also isn't being validated or anything like that. Their core fear is not being superior enough, and their core fear is not being validated. Whereas an avoidant will pull away to self-protect themselves. A narcissist pulls strings to self-elevate. I feel like I should say that again. An avoidant pulls away to self-protect. It says self-protective mechanism, just like an anxiously attached person's self-protective mechanism is to fix the conflict straight away and chase and over-communicate, etc. A narcissist, they pull strings to elevate, and there's a really, really, really big difference. All right, the key differences. Conflict. You might want to write these down. It'll probably help you process the differences and be able to differentiate whether the person you're in a contact with or in a relationship with or dating is an avoidant or a narcissist. So, number one, conflict. Avoidant. They will shut down, emotionally shut down, withdrawal, and they need a lot of time and they need a lot of space. A narcissist will attack. They will blame you, they will gaslight you, and they will twist reality. What is gaslight? Gaslight is, for example, you bring something up to them and you're like, hey, XYZ, it really affected me. And then they somehow make their action that hurt you as though it's your fault. Or they say, oh, that never happened. It didn't happen that way. And you start questioning yourself as to whether that actually happened or not. If you leave arguments feeling more confused about what's happened, that's a red flag that they're a narcissist. An avoidant, and on my TikTok sometimes I say a good avoidant, and people go, and they go crazy in the comments. They get a lot of backlash. But the thing is, like, these avoidants can be good people. Okay, they can be. Narcissists often do have an attachment style, okay? I understand that. A narcissist usually has an avoidant or an anxious attachment style deep down, but then they've sugar-coated it in narcissism as well. That's the difference, okay? So what you need to look out for in this episode is any of the narcissistic tendencies, purely. Because a narcissist could be avoidant and a narcissist, okay? Hope that makes sense. Another example of gaslighting is, they will also, people who gaslight you will also shame you and belittle you and, say things like, oh, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're ugly, right? And like put you down. Another good topic is accountability, all right? And this one's confusing. Avoidants, they may struggle to communicate, and they will struggle to take accountability as well when they're dysregulated, but when they are regulated, when their nervous system has calmed down, they can admit fault and they can take accountability when they're regulated. A narcissist will very rarely take responsibility. And apologies are always conditional. They'll say something like, I'm sorry you feel that way. Rather than like, oh, I'm actually sorry for my actions, right? There's a huge difference there. But please understand, an avoidant may not take accountability in the moment when they're threatened and their attachment system is activated and their nervous system is dysregulated. So it could come across that way, but the difference is when they calm down and their nervous system is regulated, they will take accountability and they will and can admit fault. A third one is empathy. So an avoidant has empathy but gets overwhelmed by emotion. They do love, they do care for you deep down. A narcissist has selective empathy, and it's not real empathy, they're just pretending that they care, because it most likely benefits them in some way, shape, or form. If your pain feels inconvenient to him and not concerning to him, that's when you want to pay attention. Number 4 is the power dynamic. So avoidance, distance is about self-soothing. They need the distance to self-regulate. They need their distance to calm down their nervous system and think clearly, whereas anxiously attached individuals, They hate distance. It's the opposite, and they need the connection in order to self-regulate and have a calm nervous system. A narcissist, distance, affection, attention, etc. are just tools. So distance isn't about self-soothing for them. It's just a tool. It's a manipulative tactic. Hot and cold isn't just emotional dysregulation for them. It is control. Conscious control. They're fully aware of what they're doing, by the way. Where it gets confusing. Both of them can leave you unread, give you very dry responses, pull away after intimacy, and avoid deep talk. So how can you tell the difference? And I understand why you guys are so confused. Ask yourself, when I express hurt, does he shut down and say he needs time? Or does he turn it around and make me the problem? If you answered he shuts down and says he needs time, he's avoidant. If you answered he turns it around and makes me a problem, I'm not here to diagnose a narcissist that I don't know, but I am saying that's a red flag. Another question, do you feel unmet? Like your needs are unmet? The clarity and reassurance you want is unmet? Or do you feel manipulated and small and belittled? If you answered you feel unmet, avoidant. If you answered you feel manipulated and small and belittled, again, I can't diagnose a narcissist that I don't know, but red flag. Avoidant behavior creates distance. Narcissistic behavior erodes your self-worth. That's the difference. I want to leave you with a little bit of a note, and I wanted to keep this short because if we go into too much depth, you will just get more confused. And I know that you listen to this episode for clarity, and that's it. Usually my episodes are longer than this. Not every emotional unavailable man is a narcissist. Not every emotional unavailable man is a narcissist. Please take that away from me. Please take that away from this video. And labeling someone incorrectly can distract you from the real issue as well. I find often in my comments and just my audience in general that women are very quick to label and try or figure out the label or diagnose the other person when really that's just a waste of your time. You're not a psychologist. You're not a therapist. That's not your job. You're probably going to do it wrong anyway. You think you know, but you don't. You need to ask yourself instead, is he capable of meeting your needs? Like, whether he's avoidant or narcissist, it doesn't really matter. The real question you should be asking yourself is this relationship, does this connection, does this person I'm dating feel safe, consistent, and respectful? That's what you need to ask yourself. Not try and spend hours on end trying to figure out if he's avoidant or a narcissist. And again, if you're not a therapist, do you really know? Because if you're constantly anxious, confused, or walking on eggshells, the label and the diagnosis, that matters a lot less than the impact it's having on you. Think about yourself for a second. Go back and pour into you. Stop outpouring into this man. I want to leave you with a couple things. Avoidant men need therapy and self-awareness in order to build healthy intimacy. Some of them will acknowledge their attachment style and do that, but some won't, and you can't carry a grown man kicking and screaming to therapy. It's not going to happen. Narcissistic men need deep psychological intervention, and they very often will seek it willingly. I think I've seen 2 TikTok accounts in my whole lifetime about a man admitting that he's a narcissist and changing his life and changing that, but that is so rare. And you cannot love either of them into change, okay? The only person that you can work on is you. So you need to just start becoming secure, honestly. Like, avoidants feel exhausting. Narcissistic will feel pretty obvious, especially the 2 or 3 questions I asked you in this episode. It should feel pretty obvious to you. But neither feel attractive. And at the end of the day, you just need to pour back into you. So I do have 30 days of healing your anxious attachment linked in the description. It's like $14 or $17. It is cognitive reframing your inner belief system. What does that do? Changes your entire reality. So not just your relationships or your dating experiences, but your health, your wealth, literally everything, your job, everything in your life. So that is some of the greatest inner work you could do for a very low investment. It's what I started with, and it helps so much. Every single week, it's different. Like, there's a different phase that we run you through. Every single day, the questions are different. And I open up to you as well about my journey with anxious attachment and becoming secure as well. If you feel like that wouldn't be enough for you and you are after something deeper, I do offer one-on-one mentorship. Just click the link below in the description to apply for it. There's a couple of different ways to work with me one-on-one, depending on what you need and also what you can financially invest. But yeah, if this gave you any sort of clarity, I want you to comment below. Just comment below the word clarity and drop me a follow if you're ready to just stop chasing emotionally unsafe dynamics, because that's what this channel is all about. And yeah, at the end of the day, if you have attracted this man into your life, it's not really about figuring out the label. It's about answering the question, how does he make you feel? Does he make you feel safe and heard and protected and desired? Or, you know, I am going to be making a lot more episodes. So in a future episode, we're talking about the signs that you're becoming securely attached and how that actually changes what you attract. Because it's very easy to get hooked up on this one person and this one man. And I made a whole video episode about being addicted to him as well. You can check that one out. It's about beta endorphin and anxious attachment and psychological addictions, basically. And I just want to bring some light that, like, yeah, he could be the man that you marry, whatever, but he also could just not be. And you need to open your eyes up to the fact that if you work on you and you become secure and you work on your inner belief system and you pour into you rather than just hyper-focusing on this one single Johnny, then that's where the real change occurs anyway. So that's that, and I'll see you in the next episode. Drop a follow. It does support me, and it does help the message get to other women as well, like yourself. Bye.